What the hell happened to Marsha? Hey, I was jamming. I just love that jingle. I don't know about y'all, but it wakes me up in the morning. Thanks for tuning in with Coffee, Tea, and Conversation with Mary Evans and my co-host, Marsha.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Easley in the
Yes.
house this morning.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't had a chance, go grab your coffee and your tea and let's get this conversation going, Miss Marsha Easley.
Let's do this.
Let's talk about how your week been going. You know, sometimes we could just soften the show up with just relaxing and taking a breath because we had a challenging morning, I must say.
It was. But you know, all is well, all is good. We here, we doing this. We doing this.
Yes. So anyone that's listening, you know, sometimes you have challenging mornings, but you can't stop. You have to keep going. Marsha, sometimes it seems like one thing after another. You get one thing fixed, something else happens.
Yep. All the time. All the
But we
time.
queens and we warriors. So
Yes.
in the chat your name and where you're listening from, and let's wake up this morning. So Marsha, what is this conversation about this morning?
Oh, it's a good one now. I think you want to talk about being submissive.
I do.
Ooh, yes, Mary, that's a hard one.
You know what? It is hard for some people, yes.
Some.
And I'm just hoping that anyone that comes on this morning and join the conversation with us, because I was doing, I always do research on our topics.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally different races. How blacks, men and women feel, white men, Jews, it's totally different. But this morning we're talking about us, okay?
Yes,
So listen, Marsha, what I wanted to ask you before I show a very interesting video, and we'll critique that video along with our audience, just to see how they feel about it. It's a video that Fantasia and her husband did, because she went on several talk shows talking about a woman should be submissive, which she is. And we'll show that video. But before we start the video, Marsha, how do you feel about a woman being submissive to their husband?
You know, I think that a woman should be. I do agree with that. A woman should be submissive to her husband. And this is very important especially if you live by biblical rules. So that's where you have to, it's where your faith is at as far as that's concerned. But I do think there are some things that the man has to do in order for the woman to be submissive. Now, that's the fine line right there, Mary. So a lot of men say that and they're really quick to bring up that biblical verse. Oh, you're supposed to be submissive, be submissive. But if you're not being the man that you're supposed to be, then how can I be submissive to you?
Marsha, you haven't even seen the video and you sort of hit it on the nail, but let's play this video and guys, let's talk about it together because you have a point there.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So, we talk a lot. I just got home. He just got home. We were in New York for Fashion Week, and then he had to fly out to go speak at the prisons, and I had to continue to keep working. So I went up to the Breakfast Club, and I enjoyed it. And
proud of you too.
thanks, babe. We were just wrapping it up and talking, and I was speaking. Yeah. So when I got back home, he had kind of said something that piggybacked off what I was saying, and I thought it was so dope coming from the male perspective that I felt like the male and the female should hear. So
here's the issue. Submission is supposed to be a beautiful song and dance between two lovers. What's happened is men have abused that power. Forgive me, they've abused that gift. And we have been misled to think that it's something where it's a dominant spirit and we own every decision, we dictate everything, we rule with an iron fist. First of all, that's not love. What happens is, in my marriage, let me not speak for everybody, my marriage, I submit daily to the Most High. I stay in my scriptures. I continue to feed myself with things that help me build my character, to reshape my perspective that was messed up in the streets and dealing with different propaganda and programming and things like that, so that I can come to my wife from a pure position. So when I do that and she sees me and she witnesses over time that it's an authentic demonstration, her heart is moved and softened and compelled to submit to me. Yeah. What does that look like? That doesn't mean that I dictate every decision. I don't walk around the house saying what we're going to spend, how we're going to do it. We talk and we build. And I consider everything that's on her heart, her perspective, her position, her philosophy. I'll carefully weave that into my philosophy to figure out what's the best move for this family, keeping all of that in mind. Now, the moment I start to step outside of righteousness and I start to move from a place of emotion instead of analytics, she has every right to snatch that back, because submission is a gift. When she sees me laying at the foot of the Father, she has no reason to withhold that from me. The problem is this: men are not found in positions of leadership handling it with integrity. How you gonna lead your wife if you can't balance a checkbook? If you don't know what's going on in the stock market? You don't have a sound understanding of the finances. You can't create a budget. You don't understand what's going on in the educational system in your community that's impacting your kids. In order to lead, you got to be so far ahead of your family that by the time they come to you with a situation or a problem, you've already dived into it, done your due diligence so that you can give leadership. You don't lead from your genitals. You lead from a gentle place of understanding. And the more she trusts, the more she can let go of things that she don't have to deal with and focus on the things that edify her. It ain't about money. We both hustlers. It's not about a dollar for dollar thing, because we're one unit.
Yeah.
If I fall, she falls. If she falls, I fall. Submission is solely about trust.
I think when women hear the word submission, we're like, what?
Yeah.
Submitting. With my husband, like he said, to piggyback off what he just said, it was what he demonstrated. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't come in and say, all right, like he said, the budget is this for that, this is that, and the third. I watched how he did things. I watched how he budgeted. I watched him, and then I slowly became him, and I submitted in that. Now. Yeah, now I think I'm more frugal than him, and that's not even being like, gotta be frugal because we don't have it. It's just being smart. And the word, if you dig deep in the word with your partner, you'll start to see a lot of things that we're talking about. But yeah, I like that he broke that down, because I'm a very strong woman. I like what I like. I'm very strong. But when it comes to allowing him to cover and lead this home, I sit back and allow him to do that, and it makes me better. Wow, that like.
Lead.
Oh, wow. I like him. I gotta have a drink to. Oh, I like him. That was wonderful.
Marsha, let me tell you something. Marsha.
Yes.
When I first heard about her going on different videos saying a woman should be submissive, that's how come we have to do our own research.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things that I heard, she said, you can't go back what folks say. When I went and researched myself and heard that brother talk, yeah, I agree with everything he say. Absolutely.
Yes, and yes again.
Yes.
Wonderful. Powerful.
So, I want to hear from the audience. Please comment. We want this show to be a dialogue, because that video is so powerful. My biggest thanks, Marsha Harris. Thanks for tuning in. My biggest problem has always been when a man throw that submissive part out, I mean, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but you're not taking care of home at all, dude. How am I submit to you and the lights cut off, water bill being paid, the mortgage, you know what I'm saying? You staying out half of the night, you doing everything you want to do, but then you want to step through the doors and talk about something. No, we're not doing that, sweetheart.
Yes, yes. I agree, Mary. I agree with that so much.
Yes. Yes, I think the problem is that, and they have this whole myth, Black women, how they all talk, we the strong, we the angry Black women, we don't need a man. I think all of that, Marsha, and you can piggyback on that, comes from us in a relationship where the Black man is not stepping up to be. You can't lead me when you can't take care of anything. Hello, Cynthia Pryor. She said, I agree. I don't think that we so angry and we feel like, because you have heard women say, I don't need a man. I think when that comes from a place out of heart, it's because of so many past bad experience and role models that we have seen, people in a relationship that say, I have a man and I'm submissive to my man. I don't have a problem because my husband lead. I'm a strong woman too, like she said. I want what I want, I do all this, but in a respectful way. If you respectful and you taking care of business, I'm all cool because I don't have to worry about those things. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand, Mary, and I agree. And I have no problem with a man and I think the man should lead the house. I think the man should be the lead. But like the guy was saying in that video, the man also has to do his part and do things to make his wife trust. He said trust is the main thing that you have to have in submission. You have to trust that person in order to give up and let that person lead and do those things for you. Because if you can't trust that person, like you say, to keep my lights on, to keep the food in the refrigerator, to keep stuff going on, then you can't trust that person. Then
no. And Marsha here say it's easier to be submissive to a man who fully trusts and will make the right decision for us. Amen. Because guess what? Let me tell you something. And particularly raised being a single parent with 2 boys that have to do everything. I don't want to do all of that stuff. I don't want to worry about all the stuff. I want you to take the lead and go, and I'll follow you. Because guess what? I'm tired.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm so tired. A lot of, just like, you hear they say, Black women, we so strong. I'm tired of being a strong Black woman with everything on my shoulders, handling everything. I used to think that was an honor. Do you know that? But we live and we learn. I don't want to be strong. I want in a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, I want to wear. You think about this, Marsha, and you were a single mom as well, worrying about all the bills, getting the line cut, the kids, getting them to practice, teacher conference. I don't want to. I led all I want. I want you. Please take the lead, please.
Yes.
I need to trust you, and I need to know you handle your business, and I'm good with that.
And I think that's the problem. I think a lot of people think that women don't want to be submissive, but I really do believe in my heart that women want that strong Black, whatever, Black, green, white, yellow, or I don't care what it is. They want that strong man in that relationship to take control. I know I did. I can't wait to find somebody to just let me be able to just sit back and like, ooh, you got me? Okay, you got me. That's what I want. Somebody to say, I got you.
Yes. And we want that. I also, in doing the research for this show, I was looking at different relationships where Black men have dated white women and the Black woman. And in some of their comments, they were saying that they have to be more careful and tap dance around the white woman's feelings because she's not as strong as the Black woman because they have experienced both. Now, wait, that's because we have the reputation of being so strong. That don't mean we love it and we like it. We did it because we had to. We had no choice but to be. You understand what I'm saying? You might have going through situations with her where she might break down, have a nervous breakdown or whatever she gonna do, and we might stand up to the plate. We might not break down, but how many nights have I laid in my bed and cried so doggone tired of being having to handle every single thing? We just handle it differently. They're more out. Thank you, Regina, for watching. She says it exactly. Queen of Carlone's in the house. We might not show it like they show it, but we break down. We get tired too. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
just think that, like he said in the video, black men have taken advantage. At first he said power. You see how he corrected himself? He said, no, wait a minute, gift. He said, it's
Yeah.
a gift. It's a
It's a
gift.
gift. It's a gift.
It's a
It's a
gift.
gift.
And
Yeah.
if you handle your gift right, then I'm going to do my part.
That's right.
Now, you've been married before, Marsha. Were you submissive? Let's go there.
I tried to. You know, I really tried to, but Mary, unfortunately, I was married twice, and both times the men were not able or capable or choose not to step up to the plate. So that was the issue with me. So I always had to take over. You know, I had to plan everything. I had to make sure everything was taken care of. You know, I had to make sure the bills was paid because, you know, unfortunately, I was with people who didn't value money or their priorities. That's the best word. Their priorities weren't in order. So, you know, that's a big word too, and something that, you know, you have to prioritize a lot of times. And sometimes you have to sacrifice and give up things. And sometimes people just don't want to do that. And I can't sit back and like say, oh, so you want to buy those rims, but, you know, we've been handing on a couple of bills, you know, that I can't submit to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't, you know, well, we can take care of it. Like, no. So that was my issue. I would really love, I really respect being the woman in a relationship, and I respect the man who is that man in the relationship. So you can only go so far. Don't be calling me no strong black woman or angry black woman because I had to step up and take over. Don't do it. If you ain't doing your part, then don't do that. Don't do it.
Marsha, I'm going to take a sip of tea and I'm going to tell you what was my problem.
Okay.
Girl, let me tell you. So I had been alone so long, right?
Mm-hmm.
Been married, didn't handle his business. To Marsha, when I met the man that I have been praying for, which is my husband now, I swear to you, everything I pray for, he was that. I'm not saying everything is always good. Don't get me wrong. We have our ups and downs. But when I tell you, I prayed for a man like him, someday we could just do things together. I didn't have to worry. Like you said, he lead. Marsha, I was so messed up mentally. I didn't even know how to appreciate it or accept it. I was so messed up. I was so used to leading. I was so used to doing everything on my terms when I get ready, how I did it, how I want to do it. You like it, you don't get it. I was so messed up mentally. Sometimes I think, how did he even make it through? We made it through. Well, we know God because I have a God-fearing husband. But Marsha, I was gone. You submissive. I didn't know what that meant. It was not even trying to learn. You know, I'm like, dude, I should have thought about this before I walked down the aisle, but I didn't realize how messed up I was mentally until I got married this last time. He like, dude, I don't know what you used to, but we married? Like, you just don't move and, you know, let's talk about things. So I'm saying this to say, Marsha, sometimes we have been out there so long to when we do get that man, you're saying if you had that type of man, you would not have any problem being submissive. He handled his business. But I'm here to tell you, the longer that you out here and because of your past experiences, when God does send him to you, you really have to check yourself.
Yes.
Because
yeah.
I truly was like, I didn't even know at one point, Marsha, if I could really flip it over and change. And, you know, my brother used to talk, you know, when your brother come to you and say, listen, my brother told me this, and my sons. My son said to me, he said, Ma, I don't worry about you because of who you married to. My brother stood up at our wedding. My brother stood up at my wedding and said this, Marsha.
Wow.
I never met a dude like him and how he cared for my sister at our wedding. That's my brother. But I still could not flip my mindset because I had been through so much. So, ladies, I'm just saying, I know it's been hard for us. We've been through a lot, and sometimes we feel are they out there? Is it any man out there? They out there. But when we do get them, I'm just asking you to just check yourself and work on yourself, because it's not our fault. We just so used to doing everything. But it's our fault if we don't do something to try to fix it, because it's hard to find. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, Mary, do you think a lot of that stuff that, like that young man said, is something that he was taught, or it's just something he learned through experience? Because to me, a lot of
Oh,
times, a way a person is brought up, that's how they learn that those type
Marsha,
of values. So I was
that is a
just
good question, Marsha. That's
yes.
a good question. So I'm going to answer that. And so it would be a clear understanding. When I
Mm-hmm.
first started dating him, the first time I went to visit his parents, which was in Atlanta, we went to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I was blew away by the way his father treated his mother.
Okay.
I had never seen anything like it, period. Now, my
Mm-hmm.
dad was a good dad, but I ain't never seen nothing like it. I mean, she could say my feet hurt, and 2 minutes later, he would be massaging her feet. When it got
Oh,
running her bath water, which is, that's like I'm gonna say, it's a good question because he does all of that for me. Just come home and dozen of roses, 2 dozen roses on the table. But
just because. Just
just
because.
because.
Yeah.
So I did. I told my mother, I came back at the first, I said, Ma, I have never seen a man. Literally, that was his queen. Literally. And his mother never worked when they grew up. His father believed that a woman don't have to work. So he cared less of work. If he had all the money to take care of us, working, how much money means nothing to him. He always
Mm-hmm.
said, I just want to be happily married and just be happy. His father was the same. Marsha had never seen anything like it. So yes, you're right. So when I come, if he's like, you get ready to pull up, my bathwater may be run, but his father did the same thing. So yes, he grew up watching his father treat his mother like that. So yeah, that is a good question. Yes.
Yeah, I do. I do
Yes.
believe that.
Yes. Yes. So I think that plays a lot in you, right. What was their role model? What was it like? She was this queen in his eyes, and that's what he always tell me. So I know that I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? And like I
Yeah.
say, I had to work on myself, Marsha. As blessed as I was, I could say I didn't appreciate it. Like I didn't even know how to appreciate it. I'm gonna be honest, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know how because I had been
Mm-hmm.
through so many crazy relationships and marriage. I just didn't know how. So,
But
ladies,
that also reinforces why, as single women, single mothers, and like you had sons, I had sons, how they do need that strong black, or
yes,
I'm just saying black, that strong male presence in their lives, just to give those values and show them, because that's how they're going to learn.
you,
They can see us, but they can see our struggle. When they grew up and see our struggle,
yes,
that's one thing. But if they grow up and see a man that's like handling it, taking care of business,
yes.
treating a woman like a queen, it can't go wrong. That's what they're gonna do.
I know, Marsha, and I hate that, and we can't back that up that I was and my sons didn't get that, in a two-family home. One of the jokes in our family is my oldest son always tell my husband, "You making us look bad because of things that he do." It's a joke, but when we go on vacation, Marsha,
Yes,
I go on
yes.
vacation, like we had to go a couple places my husband can go, and my son told me, you can never travel again without him because I'm sitting in the car. I was like, Mike, get the door. Because he opens the door and still, he that old school man.
Oh,
Open the door. And Mike, one day my son, he was like, oh, you gonna sit your butt right there because your husband not here with us. I said, you better come open this door. So he always said, oh, you can't travel with us unless he go. Because we're not doing all
yeah.
of that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful thing. I just want to go out the show with saying this. Women, I feel y'all, is a beautiful thing when we do find that special one. And I'm telling you, when you do, just try to communicate and work it out. Because I mean, if he wasn't as strong hearted as he was to say, I'm in this marriage no matter what to make it work, I don't even know if it would have worked because I was a hot mess and didn't even know it, Marsha. But he
Mm.
just kept he was just like, I love you. I know we can work this out, but I was a hot mess and I didn't even know it because I was used
Okay.
to doing me for so long. So I just thank God. And now, we do date nights. We have fun. He's my best friend. And it's not
Aw.
just all about sex because we know one day, that's over with. We literally have fun together. So that's a beautiful thing. So ladies, I'm praying for you sisters. And when you do, just appreciate them. If you're married now, stop and take a look at how you handling things right now. I'm talking to the married women as well because it's always room for change and growth. We continuously checking ourselves. Sometimes, we have little petty arguments. And a couple of weeks ago, he came in the room and he hugged me. He's like, "Babe, come on now, that's so petty." And we laugh at we laugh at it. We like, for real, we really was arguing about this dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I just think marriage is something that you always have to critique it and see, where can you grow? Where could I make it better? Where could he make it better? Where can we bring it together? And as long as he's doing his part, I'll be always forever be submissive. And that's how I want to go out the show. What do you have for the audience?
I just want to say that submissive is great in a marriage. We didn't bring this up. If you're not married, do you have to be a submissive in a relationship? But I'm going to stick on what we're talking about. If you have a husband, try to be submissive. I think it would be the best thing, especially if that man is a godly man and he's doing what he's supposed to do to make sure the family and you are taken care of. I think it'd be a wonderful thing. I can hardly wait. I can hardly wait for that. So yeah, submissive is not a bad word. It is not a bad word. That's what I'm going out with, Mary.
It's not a bad word. And I like what you said. Should you be submissive in a relationship, and if you're not married? And that's another whole show. But
yep.
And it's a great show, because, and I'll just tell you my opinion on that. I think we give too much not being married, but that's another whole show. So I don't think you not being married, you can forget it, brother. Unless we're going to talk about that, Marsha, because my grandmother, I know you heard the saying before. My grandmother used to say, "Why buy the cow if the milk is free?" You guys have a great Sunday evening. See you next Sunday on Coffee, Tea, and Conversation with Mary Evans. And wait, Marsha Harris, I want to read her comment. Put Marsha comment. Marsha, let's go. Let's read Marsha Harris before we end this show. Marsha Harris, if a woman wants a good man, she really needs to see how her partner dad treats his wife sometimes. It is so, so true. Thank you, Marsha. You guys enjoy this Sunday. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
I know they gon' remember me, 'cause I'm gon' leave a legacy.